Hey guys, it's Woody Mark here, coming with my first ever video of a zombie review map. And this is a series where I review every single map, taking lots of things into consideration. But before I start the video, I will say, put your views below. These are based on my opinions of what I feel the map is. At the end I do a conclusion. If you have anything else that you feel I should add, please put it below. Feedback is greatly appreciated. And let's get on to the video. Ugh, I can't talk. So to begin with, I want to talk about the first room. And my opinions on the first room is, it's a pretty good first room. It's pretty challenging. It's different with it having 5 windows, of course, instead of the classic 4. So when doing a first room challenge, you need to keep an eye on the extra window. But overall in the room, you've got the M1 carbine, which is a pretty powerful weapon. You've got the Kar 98, and you've got Mule Kick. Overall, I feel this first room is pretty okay. I feel it would be better for 4 windows, so you can do the classic first room challenge. But apart from that, it's a pretty good first room. Get around easily. Doors are both 1,000 each, so yeah, it's not bad first room. So the second thing I want to talk about is actually the Thompson room, or the box room, or however you want to call it. And obviously people usually go through that door, they buy the Thompson, as it's a reliable point builder. It's a top gun. I've been loving it ever since I got the map pack. It's a really good gun. You can get a straight hit of the box. It's easy with this map, as your only aim is to get Mule Kick or to hit the box. So wasting your time for doing stuff like packet punching, buildables, buying perks just isn't on this map. So this map has a pretty good flow to it. The only thing is, this room's the main thing for getting stuff. The box doesn't move, which is a positive, I do guess. But overall, spawns are pretty dodgy because it's such a small map. They seem to come from different areas, so either when you try to sound horde the zombies, it actually doesn't work out so well because they sometimes run past the window. So I feel the spawns are a little bit dodgy in this map, but it keeps you aware, I guess. Okay, so next I'll talk about the upstairs room. And the upstairs room has the bar, which is it's an alright weapon, but it's very expensive, and you'll just buy the Thompson. So I don't see the point of the bar. You have the sniper's cabinet, which is something different you put in, so I like that. And you got the sawed-off shotgun and a few grenade spots. I feel this area is kind of pointless. It's probably the most difficult area to be in, but if you watch the gameplay, if it does happen, there's a little area to camp. But without speed killer, it's hard to camp on this map. So maybe perks wise, that's another addition that can be added in. So I believe, based on that, that room's kind of pointless in a way. I don't really like it too much. But this is based on my opinion. Put comments below of what you think.
Time to light 'em up.
Next, I want to briefly talk about weapons. As weapons in the box, you have the thunder gun as the main wonder weapon, which is a nice weapon to put in. But when you run out of ammo, you have to keep hitting the box, which creates a lot of frame rate on this map. Not on this lag, it creates lag. But it's kind of a positive and a negative. But getting to high rounds wise, I believe getting to high rounds is difficult but possible on this map. You've only had a couple of people who have got to 100, I do believe, which makes this map very difficult. But compared to some of the other maps, based on highest rounds, it's easier to get high round on this map than Call of Dead. It's actually similar to Shangri-La and Die Rise, I guess. It's harder for the weaker players, I do believe. So this map is a very difficult map. So if you want to get to high rounds, you're going to have to be very patient and have lots of tries with it. I'll briefly talk about perks and weapons as well. I believe perks wise, Mule Kick's a good minimal perk to have. To be honest, I wouldn't put any more perks in it because I feel this map should be a weapon based map where you focus more on the weapons. So having something like Pack Punch I feel would be a great addition. But obviously you've got to take into account that this map was made in World at War, where Pack-a-Punch wasn't created. So in my opinion, Mule Kit shouldn't have even been added in the first place. It should be a bit like Bus Depot, where it's just a clean slate, no maps. Well, just clean, nothing else in it apart from the box, just because that's how it's created in the first place. And that's how I feel, but if I was going to improve it, I would put Pack-a-Punch in. So you have to aim at Pack-a-Punch in your weapons. So now for my conclusion, and in my conclusion I'm going to rate each little bit out of 100 and include an overall score at the end. So to begin with, the mobility is how fast you get around the map. Does it take you ages to get around the map like Transit? And I've rated this a 95 because you can get around the map really easily. It's just the doors are a bit narrow. That's the only thing I would argue. Spawns are a little bit slow on this map, I do believe. Also, the sounds in the spawns are a little bit weird, so I only gave that a 50. Perks and Pap, I gave it 75. Considering it's something different, so I didn't give it lower. And I believe if you had Pack-a-Punch on this map, it would improve it a lot. But obviously, it wasn't invented then. Flow of the map, I gave this map a 90 rating just because there's nothing much you can do, that you just hit the box and keep going like that. It's pretty straightforward, so the flow of the map's pretty good. You don't have to worry about buildables or anything like that. Weapons, I gave an 85. I believe it has a good range of weapons, which include the World at War weapons actually. I believe that's what made weapons on this map better than the likes of Kino perhaps, or like Shangri-La Ascension perhaps. So I gave it an 85 because it was pretty good. High rounds, I gave this one a 60 because you can get to high rounds, but compared to some of the other maps where you can get to 200, and also for the weak players it's a very challenging map and it can be frustrating, so I gave it a pretty low score of 60. Difficulty, I gave difficulty a score of 90. Now this doesn't work in higher the better, because it's higher the score, the harder the map is, and this map is a pretty challenging map, so I gave it a score of 90. I believe it's difficult. I believe that's a good thing, but a bad thing for the weaker players, as they won't play this as much as the game is shorter generally. And first room I gave a 60 because it has 5 windows. Even though the M1 carbine is a pretty powerful weapon, it has 5 windows. I think I said 6, I do apologise. And it's pretty challenging. Well, it's supposed to be a challenge, but the areas are more challenging. I guess it's harder to run around in, where you got maps like Origins, where you can run around, you can train, but it's a challenge too, instead of impossible. Almost impossible in my opinion. So I gave it an overall score of 78, which is a pretty good score for this map. It's a pretty consistent map. It doesn't have anything great to do with it, but it's a pretty solid map. It doesn't do much wrong in my opinion. I will not be reviewing Easter eggs, as I'm not an Easter egg kind of person. I play for fun, a bit of high rounds, but not extremely high rounds. So that's the end of the video. So if you enjoyed the video, hit like and say why in comments below. Same with dislikes, and if you want to see more, subscribe and give feedback below on this series. Any ideas, it's much appreciated. It's been Woody Mark, and I'm out. See you guys.